And hello, everybody, and welcome back to the True Path Entrepreneur, your guide to living your purpose and growing a freedom-based business you love with freedom and fun. And I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a transformational business coach helping current and aspiring entrepreneurs align with their true purpose and grow their business so that you can help more people, profit with your passion, and have a thriving business you love working on your terms from anywhere on earth. And in today's interview, we get to explore something really cool and exciting, and we get to hear from Prema Lee Gurreri. Hey, Prema, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thanks for being with us. So Prema is committed to creating a world where everyone is empowered to live according to their soul blueprint, on purpose, in a way that is aligned with their high-value gifts and their birthright of true wealth. Prema guides and teaches entrepreneurs, visionaries, and change agents to lead with their unique divine gifts and talents and fully align with their purpose and passion to create wealth for themselves and the world simply by being who they are and doing what they love to do. She created her solutionary programs and services to empower clients to lead lives poised at the intersection of prosperity and purpose and live from the hearts of their sacred wealth codes. Prema is a best-selling, award-winning author of Your Sacred Wealth Code, Unlock Your Soul Blueprint for Purpose and Prosperity, and an Oracle card deck. And she's a leading Vedic astrologer, a business consultant, spiritual advisor, and energy practitioner with more than 25 years of experience. She's also presents to groups as an inspired speaker, guide, and workshop facilitator. So Prema, I love all that you do, and these are some of my favorite topics about soul's purpose and astrology, and of course, who doesn't love oracle cards? But tell us, how did you get onto your path of doing this, for over 25 years?
Yeah,
and all this cool stuff.
So I want to say, like all of us, I was born on my path, and it just depends on how long we take to find the center lane of your path. Because sometimes we're off in the bushes on the side, and sometimes we're right in the center of it. I really started very early in life on sort of my spiritual quest, and that's because life just put me in situations where the answers I needed, I couldn't find around me on the outside, or the grown-ups that I was looking towards, there just weren't any there to guide me along the way. So early in my life, I became, like teenager time, I was really interested in yoga and spirituality. And so I became a yoga teacher. And then we'll fast forward to, let's say, 2002. I opened a big, beautiful yoga and healing art center. It was called Yoga and Beyond, the way Yoga of Life. And I had had other studios before, but this was like 3,500 square feet, 2 yoga studios, practitioners. There was a lot involved, and we built it from the ground up, and it was gorgeous. And this was really a business that I felt like my heart and soul was in. And in fact, it was a 6-figure in sales business, but not a lot of that was actually coming to me. So we're almost 5 years down the road, and it's like right after New Year's in 2007, and I'm going to unlock the center's door, teach an early morning class. And I was on Bainbridge Island, which is just a ferry boat ride away from Seattle. And I'm opening this door of this beautiful, magnificent place that I've created. There's great community, but the fact of the matter is I was really struggling, and I was really faced with letting the center go for the last, 6 months before this. But what happened on that day is I got it. I really had my marching orders from the divine that I just, I needed to close the center. I tried everything to keep it open, including selling it and finding a partner. But my soul just ached in having to shut this down, so to speak. And I really found myself in one of those dark nights of my soul. And if any of you are in or have been in the dark night of your soul, everywhere you look, you really aren't finding the answers. The only place you can go is within. So I was very humbling at the time, and I let the center go, and I vowed to stay on my knees until I figured out what was off, because, I really believed that I was on my purpose. And I truly believe that when we are on our purposeful path, that our prosperity is there as well. But I knew something must be off. So I did just that. I stayed on my knees. I really dug into my shadow. And look, the shadow is a kind of a scary place, but I tell you, there is so much of your goodness locked up in there. And I found out what I now call my sacred wealth code, I really began to understand what that is through my Vedic astrology, through my energy practitioner abilities to clear, through getting some help to really look at the parts of myself I wasn't in alignment with. I found out that I was actually functioning from part of the shadow side of what I now call my sacred wealth code. And what a couple of my attachments were is that I had to do it all alone. And are you there, anybody, where you feel like, okay, and that's just from my upbringing. Those were just patterns that, that I had to do it alone. Well, that kept me from having the kind of team that could support and make this whole thing really flourish. I couldn't do it all. Even though I was training teachers and doing all, I couldn't do it all. I also was in one of my sacred wealth code archetype that's within me, because they're all within all of us, but it wasn't part of my wealth code. I was playing the administrator. I was overseeing, again, doing everything on my own, but I was doing all the details, and I'm good at that. And I've been hired by companies to do that, but it's not in my highest value gifts. So I really stepped into using what are my highest value gifts. Some of my great archetypes are, it's a sage, a connector, a magician. I'm a great teacher. I have an incredible messenger. And I came out of the closet with my intuitive capacity. I was kind of some people's best kept secret. And I bet some of you are a best kept secret too. And look at you're robbing the world, yourself and your own prosperity, but the world of what you've really come here to give. And I stepped out and I recreated my business and reconfigured it. I hired a team. I really honed in on, I was here to do work with deep work with people who really wanted to flourish, use their gifts, create businesses for themselves so they could be who they are, do what they love, and have the kind of wealth that is uniquely meaningful to them. And I did just that, and became successful pretty quickly, and have just continued that success and refined that again and again to fit my own wealth dream, because wealth means something unique to each and every one of us.
Yeah. This is so beautiful. And I love it because I just went through a huge dark night of the soul, like pretty much all last year. And now, I mean, it's insane how everything is, of course, I always preface it by saying there's always challenges. There's always things to work through. There's always growth and evolution, but everything has been falling so well into place, like ever since then. It's like I came out into the light, and things have just been taking off like crazy, and so much abundance and love and energy. But can you talk a little bit more about, what do you mean by the sacred wealth code? I've heard this before out there. I've heard people talking about codes, and how do we find out what they are?
Yeah, so your sacred wealth code is actually a body of work that literally the divine downloaded through me. It's based on a principle in Vedic astrology. I will not geek out on you too much, but I will let you know that within your, what I call your soul blueprint, your Vedic astrology chart, that's my interpretation of looking at a soul blueprint. There's lots of ways to do that. There's a scientific principle where purpose and prosperity, where those planets intersect or where they're placed, is where you are most uniquely wired up, so to speak, or encoded to create wealth. Now, after looking at, people always come to me for, how do, money, self-awareness, spirituality, relationship. Well, after looking at, like, especially the prosperity piece, what I saw was this is where people's, their divine gifts, we have lots of them, but the ones that are the highest value. And when you start to use those highest value gifts, like one of my highest value gifts is the fact that I'm a kick-ass intuitive. I can see and also I can help someone really align with their own soul, know what their gifts are, and then I can come down and give practical action on how to actually use those in a way that's going to really feel unique to you. Well, you have divine gifts. We all have the ones, but there's ones that unlock something in the world that only you can unlock with your gifts. And when you do that, you finally get that recognition from the world. You finally get that both financially and monetarily, and on a wealth side in relationships, because wealth means a lot of things, freedom. But like when I even finally said, okay, I've been teaching my version of this, and I teach a lot of things, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders. But when I finally listened to that, okay, now you actually need to create this beautiful oracle deck. Now you need to actually put this in a book. Well, I just won 8 awards for both, for both of those combined, because again, I turned that key and the world said, oh yeah, we need this. No one else has this particular. So what I'm really here to empower you to do is to really know what those unique gifts that you have are, and how you can really relax into the authenticity you are. But also, how can you give those to the world, whether that is through creating a business that and infusing those gifts, or maybe, you have a career you love. How can you bring them more into that? How can you create that foundation or write that book or do that, create that movement that you just are so passionate about, and use your gifts to do that, because you will feel the most fulfilled, because underneath wealth is a deep sense of fulfillment for all of us.
Wow, it's so beautiful. And, I believe in this too, is the more in alignment you are with your heart and with your passions, your desires, it almost does seem easier. Everything does seem to get easier. I still put in work. I still am out there. I'm still doing things that are uncomfortable and scary. But in the end, it's like everything just feels so much better that way, when I do it, because it's so aligned with like this deeper level of living and a deeper level of purpose. Now, what would you say to people who are out there saying, oh, well, yeah, I don't really know my purpose yet, and I just like doing this and this and this, and I want to make money, and I want to stay comfortable. Like, how do you help people through this journey?
Okay, well, I'm going to address the last one first. You want to stay comfortable. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you want to grow, if you want to evolve, if you want to change, and if you want more freedom in your life, and you want a deeper sense of peace, or you want whatever your interpretation of wealth is, you're going to get uncomfortable. But that uncomfortable will become your new normal. It's when you go traveling, you are uncomfortable in a certain way. It's all new and different. It calls a certain amount of presence through you. We need to change our relationship of what uncomfortable is. It's actually, things are new and different. It's new and different. And you want things to be new and different. So you've got to be willing to be new and different too. So tell me again the S. I'm sorry, I really went off.
Yeah, no, I was just, because I hear this from people all the time. They're like, I either want to find my purpose.
Gotcha. Sorry.
I don't know my purpose. And
yeah. So here's the beautiful thing about your sacred wealth code is, so we all have a purpose that, okay, let me back up. Everybody write down purpose equals why. Why equals purpose. Just like an equation, purpose equals sign why. Everything you do, everything you want, everything you have come here for, everything you think you want, there is a purpose behind it. When you know the bigger why, like, why do you even want more freedom? Why do you want to create a business? Why do you want to have more time off? Why do you want to help why do you want to help disenfranchised children in some way? Why is that? There's a purpose behind it. And you always want to ask yourself that question so that you know that you are on purpose or off purpose. Now, we have we have like this essential purpose that we can express in different ways in different areas of our life. But when it comes down to that expression of that purpose, the Sacred Wealth Code is so beautiful, because it really helps you to understand not only what your gifts are, but when you know, like, that you're an amazing communicator, okay? And that you have the ability to use that communication to really get words across in the written form. Let's say that, okay? And you're really good also at creating a sense of entertainment through that, but really you're there to give people a message. Well, underneath all of that, why do you do that? Well, there's obviously, you want to help people you want to get the truth or an idea across. So there's a message behind your communication. The Sacred Wealth Code, because it's found with purpose and prosperity, it's an intersection. That your purpose is, then you find that, oh, my purpose is in all my gifts. My greater purpose, like underneath everything, is to be in alignment with the divinity that I am, with the light. Take that to another level. What's the greater purpose for me doing the work that I do in the world and the movement I'm creating is to help people to live from the inside out. Now that can look a lot of different ways. The Sacred Wealth Code is one of those ways that I help people to tune into their gifts, put some practical action around their gifts and vehicles to ways so that they can live from the inside out. What you were talking about previously is so right on. Things become easier when you're aligned with you know, your soul blueprint, where it is that you've chosen on a soul level to go. And it doesn't make sense to the logical mind so much. And we have to like shut out even marking, like, well, how are other people doing stuff? But when you trust this divine, and it's a feminine part of ourselves, it's not going to make sense on the outside. But when you put one foot in front of the other, that's how I've created everything. And you've got to have a deep sense of trust in yourself. So that also is another layer of purpose. So there's a lot of different ways purpose comes out, but I guarantee you, if you really start to use your high value gifts, you will be on your purposeful path.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's so true too. I'm just sitting here shaking my head. I'm like, yeah. It's because it manifests in so many different forms too. Like you said, it's like freedom. I make jokes. I'm like, yesterday I took half the day off to, you know, have lunch with my boyfriend in the middle of the day on a weekday during work hours when I should be working. I'm in the middle of creating the summit, but I was like, you know what? Like, I can do anything I want. Like, I don't function by the rule of time anymore. I function by like when I want to work. But I'm curious, you know, I personally love astrology. I actually give, you know, I send clients to my own astrologer. And I'm curious to hear how you've infused astrology and oracle cards and the sacred wealth codes into, you know, your coaching and people's purpose and business. Like, how do you intertwine all this?
Yeah, absolutely. So in fact, I just had my private client retreat, and so with all my clients, we always do a soul blueprint day. And in fact, that's something you can also get on my website. It's called a soul success map session, where I look at your whole soul blueprint and I answer your questions about timing. What should I help people plan launches, let them know the soul cycle they're in, which are their gifts that they have, aside from just knowing their sacred wealth code. I use the chart for that too. But which of their gifts are the ones that their soul is wanting them to most focus on now? Which ones are they, you know, probably the hardest work for them to crack the nut and get out of the shadow on? And then we do the clearing work around that. I let them know what's the energetic weather. What's the celestial weather coming? I don't like to function under prediction, because that's robbing people of choice. And really, someone can only predict through the energy lens that you're looking through at any given moment. But I can see what the weather is. And I know that if I want to go to the beach in the middle of December where I live, I cannot wear my bikini. Okay. I'm going to have to wear my raincoat and my boots. So I'm going to be so much more comfortable. I can still go to the beach. You can still do that launch, even if it's going to be kind of a crappy time. So if we've missed the boat, you didn't listen to me, and you went ahead and scheduled it anyway, what we can do, because you would have been better going on vacation, I will find a way for you to work through it. We're going to have to shift maybe how we do it, so you can move with the energy and not against it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I love it. And this is one of the reasons why I look in all these different aspects: astrology, you know, personality tests, Enneagram. You know, I'm curious, you know, you were guided to make these oracle cards, right? And that's the one thing I don't do. I have another friend who literally pulls a tarot card based on every decision she ever makes. But I'm curious, like, how did this come about, and how do you recommend people work with oracle cards with things like making decisions with business and purpose and, you know, life?
So I'll tell you a little bit about the book and cards, and it'll make sense, because all of actually, can we do just a 2-minute exercise?
Oh, yeah. Love it.
So I am always going to, anybody who works with me, I will absolutely give you some very potent information that may be hovering just out here and you haven't been able to connect with. But my best work is when I can actually pull information through you, because there's transformation that happens in that process, and I have lots of ways to do that. I really want you to be able to trust yourself, because I believe that you're feeling your soul blueprint. You just may not know how to interpret it, and you haven't learned how to trust yourself. So close your eyes if you're not driving, and I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're not driving. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep, full breath in and out through your heart. And another one in and out through your heart. Really do this with me. I have a longer version of this that's part of my free gift, but in just a couple of minutes, you're going to get down to the core of something. And take one more breath in and out through your heart. All right, now we're in sacred space. And I want to invite you to also have reverence for your beautiful yet very busy mind. It is a tool that is made to follow your wisdom, your truth, which really is accessed through your heart. I want you to imagine you've got a slide or a stairway from your head to your heart, this beautiful golden slide or stairway, and you're just going to take that busy creature up there in your head, pop it on that slide, and you're going to go all the way down. Just trust this is happening through your nasal cavity, the top of your throat, the base of your throat, right down into the top of your chest. And one more flight down into the very center of your heart. Take a deep, full breath in and out through your heart once again. And you've landed in the field of your heart where you are connected to your soul, to all possibilities, where we're all connected to the great heart. And I want to invite you to allow this question to drop into your heart, like I'm dropping a pebble into the pond of your heart. You're just going to sit back and notice what flows up, whether you hear something, whether you sense or feel something, or whether you're visual. And what I want to invite you to let into your heart right now is, if I did know what it is that my heart is most desiring for me right now, currently, and if you have a business and you're wondering about that, we can ask it for your business. What is my heart most desiring for me, for my business or for my purpose? What might that be? And just notice what floats up for you. Trust the very first thing. Don't disregard that thing. Trust that. Take a deep breath and breathe it in. And if I really embrace this, do this, be this, whatever it might be, what can that make possible for me? And one more question. Well, actually, there's two. What's in my way? What's stopping me? If I really tell myself the truth, that's the question that'll get you in the back door of your soul. If I really tell myself the truth, what is stopping me or holding me back from this that my heart wants for me? Yep, just embrace that. I firmly believe that every part of you, everybody's welcome to the party. That's just a part of you that's maybe not in the light yet. And there's a way to get it there. And what's one inspired action that I could take in the next 24 hours that would support me in what my heart wants from me today? What's one inspired action? And again, trust that first thing. Now, if you didn't get something that came up, do not worry about it. It's going to drop in within the next couple of hours, okay? But I guarantee that most of you had something that came up for you. So you can take a deep breath, you can open your eyes, probably be good to make a note of what came up for you. But you just got some direct answers from your soul. You are connected all the time. Beth, you want to share anything?
Yeah. I'm laughing at what came up because it's actually my mantra for 2018, and it's actually my mantra for this interview series is ease. And because last year was really, it was a huge growth year. It was this dark, journey into deepest, darkest shadows, but it was amazing, And I said to myself back in January, I was like, oh, this year's got to be easy. And this year has been so easy for me, and easy, but like growth and abundance. And this interview series, the same thing. My last one was amazing, but it was a lot of work, and it was like kind of hard and some snafus. And I was like, no, this one's going to be easy. And it's been so easy. So
what's your heart want for you?
Yeah, it wants ease. And then it wants almost, it said something like more replenishment.
Beautiful. Like, which is feminine principle. Yep. More replenishment. And what's that going to make possible for you?
More energy to serve and give to others and fulfill my mission.
And did you find you had anything in your way?
What was that in my way? No, actually, now I don't remember what came up. I think I know what it was. In my way was my own disbelief that things could be easy.
Good information to have. So that's the part of the shadow you'd want to work on. And then what was the inspired action for you?
It was like little things on the to-do list, but also, getting sleep, meditating, working out, going to yoga, which I pretty much do anyways, but making sure that it's
making
okay
sure
to
that
do all that.
you take care of your alignment
Oh, yeah.
first and your action second.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And make sure you get those things in your calendar. So one way, and we'll just take off right here, one of the ways that you can use the Oracle deck is if you know what your sacred wealth code is, which I'm also part of my free gift is a quiz that you can take to find out what one of yours is. And if you want to go to my website, you can also get a reading. But you could find out what your sacred wealth code archetypes are. And you might just pick out of those few archetypes and which one can serve you in today or in a project or in after you did a drop-in. Like I have a whole journal that's actually being printed now. That'll be out by the end of the year. That takes this daily practice of tuning in with your archetypes. But all these archetypes, all these gifts are within you somewhere, whether they're part of your wealth code or not. So right now we would just go ahead and pick something randomly for the deck for you. So you get the sage. Okay. So the sage.
Then the owl.
This is, yeah. Can you see the sage?
The owl's been my my spirit animal for the last since June or May, June, July. Yeah.
These are all hand painted paintings that I collaborated with an artist, and actually here's the hand painted.
Oh my God, beautiful.
So there's 23 archetypes, 3 for each planet, 1 for the north and south node of the moon. So there's a mantra, there's a soul purpose, there's inspired action, there's a shadow side. But with the sage, it's the truth will set me free. The truth will set me free. And so just, you can give yourself an own intuitive reading. You can open up the archetype book, which will have the description. And like I said, each one has a shadow side. Each one has a soul purpose. Each one has, it really goes into both the gifts and the shadow, the high value gifts that you have. So you can read about it. You could also use the archetypes as, wow, today, I need to go give a talk and I'm not really feeling it today. Or I'm going to do an interview like this, or I've got to stand up and have a conversation with my boss. Well, you might just grab the leader. The leader's hanging today. You might grab the leader and you might read about the leader. I lead from the heart.
Is that a flock of geese flying?
It is a flock of geese flying.
That's actually, my friend has done this Sabian symbol thing on me, and that's one of my my things that I'm working on is becoming like a flock of geese. I forgot what it is, like a flock of geese leading in the sky. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's what and of course we're using you as our surrogate. So of course I'm tapping your energy. So that's beautiful.
Totally.
So you can also use the cards and the archetypes to be able to step into that energy that you need today. So there's lots of different ways. You might be doing a project. Which archetypes do I need? Which energies do I need to tap into that are going to really support me? And I might pick 3 cards for that. And I've got the teacher, the strategist, and the great nurturer here. So there's infinite ways to do that. And I give that in the oracle cards. And the book itself is actually a self journey. It is a way for you to understand what your wealth dream even is, what some of your shadow side is, the 4 pillars of wealth, your purpose for wealth, your big why, your passion, which I talk about a little differently. It's really your fuel that'll get your purpose there. The 3rd pillar is so we've got purpose, we've got passion, we've got our greatest gifts and really understanding at least one of your greatest gifts. And then the 4th is your soul's challenges. And that's the greatest, that's the hidden gateway to wealth.
Oh yeah.
It's you're going to answer questions. There's meditations and there's an online portal where I'll lead you through them all. It's actually a journey and a workbook. I even have people, like a company was just going on their company retreat and they were looking at their budget and everything. And they actually used the book as the process for everyone to actually do that and make sure they were on vision together and to work through the budget. Wow. So it's really, it's an interactive experience. And of course, nice. I keep retreats and in my groups and programs, but it's all like the front door to first understanding yourself. And then what, like I'm teaching masculine and feminine energy right now in my program. So it's a really lovely, fun, but as you can see, pretty right on way to understand.
Yeah, I'm actually blown away. I'm like, I'm going to tell my friend what just happened because he's this thing with the geese has been like a huge, it's a huge journey and it's actually proven to be totally on point. It's like shifting the way I approach everything in my life and my business. And the more I shifted towards these shadows or whatever you want to call it, things I need to bring into balance, the better everything's been getting. So I love this work you're doing. This is so on point. And so this is the free gift, the Sacred Wealth Code quiz, Soul Wisdom Meditation, and 7-day action journal that's in today's email. If everybody clicks the link, they can get it. Is this what you mean by the portal where this is all located, or?
So no,
Different.
The quiz is going to get you at least one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. Okay.
Okay.
And you'll get a beautiful printout along with that, and some training on the back end about it. You'll also, the Soul Wisdom Meditation is a longer version of us, what we did today of dropping in, and I teach, that's at the core, that's in my book, that's at the core of all of my work. And the 7-day action journal is so that you can record those things and really look at them and make sure you take those inspired actions over a week. You can find all of my stuff. The easiest way to my website is sacredwealthcode.com, and everything. And if you want a reading or, again, I work privately with people, and I have different groups and such, and you can tune into all of it there.
Awesome. This is so great. Everybody, you have to download this. This is really why I'm doing this series, because I love infusing all these different aspects of life, of energy work, of tapping into our blueprint, all of this into the practical business, the masculine energy of getting ourselves out there and growing a business, and really being this messenger for our true purpose and our why on the planet. So thank you so much. This has been really great talking to you. I am so glad you shared this exercise with people. I feel like something totally shifted in me. I'm like, oh yeah, I should go to yoga tonight.
I would make sure that you listen to that, because then again, when we follow our inspired actions, and I'll just close with this because I wish this for all of you, and thank you so much for having me. Is when we follow our inspired actions, we then start to take that guidance that we're hearing all the time, but specifically in that situation, and we're actually learning to grow our trust. We're flexing our trust muscle, and we're trusting ourselves. And then we get to see what actually happens because we took that inspired action. The mind cannot connect. No, we need more clients. Go to yoga. The mind can't connect those dots. But I tell you what, when you go to yoga and you open up more, you align more, you never know who's sitting next to you, and one thing leads to another. You only need to know the next step. That's it.
True. It's so true. It's so true. I love that you're teaching this, because this is what the world needs to know. This is all so important. And thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. Everybody, click the link in today's email. Be sure to download the free gift, and we'll see you tomorrow on the True Path Entrepreneur. Bye, Prema.
Bye-bye.
Bye.